for high school football on 1150 WIMA. Our broadcast game tonight, Lima Senior hosting Mansfield Senior. Our roundtable segment, Mike Miller, Jason Aldrich joining me, Todd Walker, and we'll review last week's picks, also get to this week's picks in due time, but let's take a look at tonight's schedule, guys, and begin with our game, Lima Senior, Mansfield Senior. Last week, the Spartans went on the road and played Fort Mitchell, Kentucky's Beechwood High School, a small school with a long record of winning in Kentucky. And I hate to say it, but it played out exactly like I said it would. Lima Senior was the better team. They dominated on the stat sheet, but you give up a kickoff return for a touchdown, commit 17 penalties, and muff a punt, you lose, and that's what happened.
However, despite all that, Todd, I think we're seeing some very positive things from Lima Senior. Mike Fell making his stamp already on this group of kids that have decided to make the commitment here. And again, almost pulling off a season-opening victory. And I think we're going to see some success here tonight at Lima Stadium.
Well, no question, they'll be challenged by Mansfield Senior, a couple of Division I prospects on that team. And they were 8-3 last year, a playoff team. They had a good win in Week 1, 28-7 over Big Walnut. And, Mike, hopefully tonight the Spartans can be, I guess, uplifted by the 1988 team back in town, the first ever Lima Senior playoff club with Coach Leonard Rush as well. Hopefully that can serve as an inspiration for this crew.
Yeah, that's a great effect and certainly reminds us of the very excellent tradition that Lima Senior football has had over the years. But again, there's still very much a disconnect from what has happened in the last decade plus as opposed to those eras with Coach Rush and other guys. I like it. It's going to be a lot of fun bringing everybody back. Again, though, we'll see what happens down on the field here tonight with the game of the moment.
No question about it. Lima Senior, Mansfield Senior, our broadcast game tonight. And we'll hear from Coach Fell later in the hour. Spartans kick off at 7 o'clock, as is the norm in the Three Rivers Athletic Conference, so they do that for their non-league games as well. So countdown to kickoff a bit truncated tonight. Let's move on to Kenton-Wapakoneta. No doubt the biggest game of the night. You can hear it on our sister station, WZRX 107.5. Mike Miller will have the call from Wapakoneta. And again, we always love this matchup because flat out they're always good, at least in recent years. And the contrast in styles is almost to a level of hilarity. You know, the Doug Fry, wing T, run the ball, guts and glory approach. Mike Mock with the don't ever punt, go for two, empty sets. It's quite the dichotomy, Mike, and it'll be a challenge for Wapakoneta. Kenton looked pretty good Week 1, and Wapak did too.
Right, I think what's maybe even more interesting about this Kenton team this season, that quite possibly their defense might be the best part of their football team.
Right.
With some Division I guys. Certainly we know about Noah Furbush heading up north. The Barr kid is very, very good and still sorting through a collection of offers. And, you know, a lot of times in high school football, it's even true in college football, I would say more so in high school, though, when you have one or two guys that are next level good and the surrounding cast realizes it, it makes you as an average or below average player even better because you just have that confidence that a guy like Furbush has your back in different situations. So I think really the biggest story tonight isn't how much Kenton can move the ball through the air, how much can Wapakoneta move the ball to keep it a competitive game on the scoreboard. I would say that to me is the thing to watch here tonight.
Mike, as you look back to last week's Wapak win, they got out to a decent lead on Bell Fountain, then got challenged and responded. 35-21, I think, was the final, something along those lines. Was Coach Fry pleased with Week 1?
Yeah, I think he was generally pleased with Week 1. In the stretch, that was a real plus for Bell Fountain, was more of the Chieftains' ability to seize momentum and sustain a couple of long drives through the late second quarter and into the third quarter. Through most of the third quarter, wasn't really anything that Wapakoneta did wrong all that well. It was an improved Bell Fountain with their offense. So I would say generally a plus opener against a much better Bell Fountain team, and a team that gave Wapakoneta at least a little bit of the open set looks they're going to see tonight against Kenton. So a great preparation game for Kenton for Wapakoneta. This Wapakoneta team, they've got big lines again, as you might imagine. They've got a mobile, physical quarterback. They've got a big, powerful fullback in Zach Schmerge, and some quick guys out of the backfield. Biggest thing is if Wapak's facing third down situation, are they going to be able to convert with any consistency tonight against that Kenton defense? Here we go again.
Yeah, they want 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, not 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. Also tonight, Lima Central Catholic looking to build off the rout of Bath last Saturday. Will be at Stadium Park tonight to take on the Delphos St. John's Blue Jays, who were blanked by Elida last week. And boy, oh boy, LCC showed off the big playability last week, and you wonder if St. John's has enough firepower to stay with them tonight. Speaking of Elida, they're home for Defiance in the WBL opener. Bulldogs versus Bulldogs. Bath trying to bounce back as they host Salina. Shawnee's at St. Mary's. Big game in the NWC, Spencerville at Ada. Time now to review our picks from last week and also make our picks for this week. Last week we were all in agreement on LCC over Bath, and we were all correct. We were all in unison on Marion Local beating Shawnee. We were all correct. And then we had some departures. Actually, we were all in unison on St. John's beating Elida.
Oh,
Missed that one. What were we thinking?
Wow.
Then there were dissensions. Lima Senior Beechwood. Jason and I picked Beechwood. Mike went with Lima Senior, so Jason and I get that one. And then Kenton at Coldwater, same story. Jason and I picked Kenton. Mike had Coldwater. So here's the final tally. We've got Jason 4-1, Walker 4-1, Miller 2-3,
3-2,
2-3, St. John's, Lima Senior, Coldwater.
Oh, okay.
2-3. So Aldi's and Walker with a 2-game lead here to start the season.
Wow, and if Lima Senior doesn't drop that one pass,
that's why they call it gambling.
And wow,
but no wagering, please.
And oh wow, Coldwater losing a home game? I guess.
Let's go to this week's picks. Let's start with our broadcast game tonight. Mansfield Senior at Lima Senior. Spartans on a 19-game losing streak. Jason, what do you think?
That comes to an end tonight. I'm taking Sparty over the TY Tigers.
Oh, look out. Jason's on a roll. Mike?
Any team like Mansfield can win 8 games last year is good enough to beat Lima Senior and go 2-0 out of the gate tonight. I've got the TY Tigers, although fervently hope I'm wrong on this one. I would love to see the Spartans win. I just don't see it.
I echo that with Mansfield, my pick. On WZRX 107.5 tonight, Kenton at Wapakoneta. Big WBL showdown. Jason, I see the coin being brandished.
But I'm not going to need it. I'm going with Kenton in this one tonight.
Jason not even consulting the coin, just flat out going with Mike Mock's Wildcats. Mike will have the call on WZRX tonight. How do you see it?
Kenton is the logical pick. Wapakoneta can win this game for them. Don't turn the ball over and ball control. That is burn the clock, because you know how Kenton is with their offense. The game will take 3 hours the way they play it. Wapakoneta can win. Smart money says they're not going to win. You have to pick Kenton.
And I will make it 3 for 3. I will also take the Wildcats. Early season important game in the Northwest Conference. Ada against Spencerville. Both were winners last week. This game played at War Memorial Stadium in Ada. I'm going to take the Bulldogs, although I think Spencerville certainly can play better than they did last week against Perry. I think Ada might be a little better right now. I'm going to take the Bulldogs to win at home.
And I think maybe, Todd, if this game were at Spencerville, I'd go with them, but I am going to go with the home team, and I'll agree with you. I'll pick Ada.
Mike, who you got? Bearcats or Dogs?
Boy, Spencerville didn't impress a lot with their opening win against the Perry Commodores. My biggest concern about the Bearcats is their ability to throw at any point in time. And at some point you have to have some semblance of a passing game, and I almost get a sense that Spencerville takes pride in their lack of passing game, that they're just going to pound it. Has Ada changed that dramatically since Mike Fell left?
Not really.
I don't think so. I'm going to have to pick 8 also.
So we're all in agreement on that one. Big game at Stadium Park tonight, LCC at Delphos St. John's. And we saw LCC up close and personal last week, and man, they live up to their reputation with the quickness and speed, the big plays. Delphos St. John's, frankly, looked very one-dimensional offensively against Elida last week. I don't think there's any way the Jays can stay with the T-Birds. I think LCC wins, and I don't think it's going to be that close.
Yeah, and again, you really have to base things off of looking at what teams did in week 1, as you said, Todd. So I'm going to agree. I'm going to pick the Birds.
Michael?
It's too easy, Lima Central Catholic, although I love the Blue Jays, but I'm going to have to pick Central Catholic.
Yeah, I just think right now, Delphos St. John's, their quarterback is hampered with an injury, and you just can't be one-dimensional and beat LCC.
Yeah, Jettinghoff's going to have to really go off tonight.
Yeah, he'd have to jetting go off.
Yep.
Our final pick, Defiance at Elida. Battle of Bulldogs. Defiance lost a tough one to Napoleon. That game seems to be the game of the year every year. Napoleon Defiance is always a barn burner. Elida, the impressive shutout of St. John's in week 1. Who you got tonight at Kraft?
Can't lose on this pick. I'm taking the Bulldogs.
And got to be a little more specific.
I'm going to go with the Elida. Again, they were impressive in week 1, so I'll pick the Elida Bulldogs.
There you go. Mike, what do you think?
I'm going to part company on that. I'm going to give Jerry Beauty and Company some props. They can put some points on the board, and I'll say in the second week they're going to figure out how to put points on the board enough to outscore Elida. That Elida may be flying high after their opener, and it isn't as impressive as that 20-0 score against St. John's is. I'm going with Defiance.
I'm going with Elida. I think they get a real shot of confidence from last week's win and maybe get their offense more on track this week against Defiance, and they'll win the Battle of the Bulldogs. That's it for our roundtable segment. We've got more of the Web Insurance Countdown to kickoff coming up. Spartans and TY Tigers kick it off at 7 here on 1150 WIMA.